Hi. There's a lot of people that are arguing and fighting and trying to justify balico. But I want you to think clearly. I want you to be frank with this problem. We're mentioning exactly what balico did wrong. Balico exposed the witnesses and the ex-wives, their addresses, their profiles on the internet. Balico caused problems for the victims of Norman. And no one has ever forced Balico to answer why he. What is J.R. Balico's reason for exposing the wives, the two wives, their families, causing chismis, causing them to live in fear because they want to remain silent. They don't want to be on the forefront. They don't want their address and phone number and their Facebook exposed to all of the FLM supporters. I want all of you to be frank. I want you to force J.R. Balico to explain to you what was his reason for doing this. You're going to have the nerve to say that Indy Marie and Cherry Salvador were not there for FLM. I want to remind you where J.R. Balico got all of his information from. Jack Patty. Jack Patty was in all of the posts supporting FLM, bringing proof, showing that FLM was a lie. It was really Norman. But nobody addresses the facts. Nobody wants to be frank. Nobody wants to deal with the issues, the hard, true issues. Why do you want to make someone a hero when they are actually chismis? Attention grabbers, information grabbers, that's all. For the attention. Balico fooled us. Me and Sherry supported JR in the beginning. But after a while, it was clear to see something was wrong. Until he started exposing the two wives, ex-wives of Norman, their children, their Facebook, going as far as their bank account, their phone number, their address. This has caused serious problems for the ex-wives, the families, and the victims, the people that are testifying. There are no star witnesses, J.R. Balico. You don't know anything, J.R. Balico. You do not spend hours and hours communicating with the real people. Balico. This court case was rescheduled because of all the stupid chismis, all the danger. It's not just COVID-19. There's issues being caused by this social media campaign of bullshit. So all of you that love J.R. Balico, I want you to be honest. I want you to demand him. I want you to command J.R. Balico. Why? What is your reason for exposing these women, their children, their Facebook? That's the one point I want J.R. Balico to answer. But I don't think it'll ever happen because it's too much chismis, too much fighting. It's too easy to fight, divide and conquer. You see, the oligarchs own all of you. The oligarchs own your soul. You even worship a fake god of Babylon and you don't give a shit. You worship money. Most of you don't know the truth from a lie. And people like Balico, it's easy to own you. It's easy to get, oh, poor JR. What about, oh, poor ex-wives of Norman? What about poor children, poor witnesses? What about JR? Why? I'm shocked, JR. Why did you do this? But no one wants to address it. Only me, Cherry Salvador, Indy Marie, and Joanne. This cockpit of chismis started with me. You know why? Because Army sent me a message in Facebook, in Messenger. She said, don't you know that Indy Marie is a scammer and a thief? Don't you know that Joanne is a scammer and a thief? And you know what I did? I took my phone and I let my phone record my voice, and it typed all the words. I said, Indy Marie and Joanne, they're driving all over the Philippines. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. I gave Army all she needed to hear. I agreed with Army. And then I sent the message. Then directly I contact Indy Marie and I told her what I did. I said, Indy Marie, I found the chismis. I found the ones that's talking like this. I found the main one, Army. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sir John. Then I called Joanne. I sent Joanne a message. I said, I just called you a scammer and a liar and all this. So it's not, don't take it personal. It's just something for bait. I gave Army what she wanted. What did Army do? She screenshot everything I said. And she put it on her timeline and she shared it for the world to see. Then I said, go ahead, puñeta, gagita. 30 years law, 30 years in BI, whatever. It's all history now. It's under the bridge. But you know what? The main issue is we know who the goddamn enemy is in our camp. The enemy is people that don't know how to think. They don't have critical thinking. They don't know the truth from a lie, and their ego is causing them to speak and expose vulnerable people. People in the middle of this trial. People that have to bring their courage and remember all the things that happened with Norman, all the pain, all that went on, everything that happened in the past. They have to relive it, and then they have to face Norman, someone they do not want to see. Some of you might say, they need to face their demons. No, it's not their goddamn demons. It's a bad experience caused by Norman. Pain and suffering because they trusted a man named Norman. What happens if you fall in love and the man turns out to be a devil? Is it your fault? What happens, all of you supporters of J.R. Balico? What happens if J.R. Balico starts more damage chismis bullshit because all of you are not forcing him to stop and shut up? What happens? I tell you what happens. The pain and suffering, the karma is on your ass. All of you close-minded people that are supporting JR, all of you that do not face JR and ask him the question, why did you expose the two wives of Norman? Why was it so important for you, you drama queen? Why did you have to expose these women? Called them star witness, showed their children, their address, their phone number. And DJ Huey, you're part of this shit too. Because it all started on your goddamn radio show, online YouTube. You know, you people can talk about me. You can talk about Cherry Salvador. You can talk about Indy Marie Rojas. You can talk about Joanne. All you want. It's not going to kill us. You know why? Because we have honor and integrity. We're not chismis like some of you. So, you want to do something good? Contact JR and ask him a question. Why did you expose the women, the two ex-wives of Norman? Why was it so goddamn important for you to do this? JR, don't you know you're hindering the process of the trial? JR, don't you know that you gave all of the million followers, the army of idiots that support FLM, you gave them vulnerable people as a target, J.R. Balico. And not one of you people, not one of you motherfuckers, and yes, I said motherfuckers, because there has been enough frank speaking between me, Cherry Salvador, and Indy Marie. Joanne, she puts it online. She's very frank. You can read, you can get the damn attitude, you can get the truth. We have given all of you enough goddamn information so you could make a decision. Are you just a quiet supporter saying, I'm crying because I want peace between y'all? Can't we just get along? No, there's something called morality, principles. There are some things you do not do in this life. And one thing you do not do is expose the key witnesses in a trial, a high profile trial like this Norman Mangosteen, Francis Leo Marcos bullshit. You do not expose the witnesses, the dates of the trial, the evidence. You do not expose the identifications, the profiles, their screenshots of their chat to you. You do not communicate with them and try to sway their brain because they have lawyers that are helping them. They have the court that's trying to protect them, to bring this court and these charges to justice, to bring Norman to his sentence for his sin. So you want to continue to support this bug teeth? You want to continue to support this idiot? It's you. You're the one that's going to suffer because karma is paying back quickly today. I exposed that today. I had a hard heart. I had a heavy heart for women. Not a hard heart. I had a heavy heart, a burden on my heart. And the song, Lady, You're My Knight in Shining, it was burning me. I had to sing this song. I expressed my tears. I expressed my emotion. I expressed how important it is to respect women and children. I expose how we live in the world of men that are fascists. Men think with their dick, not with their brain and their heart. Men need to learn to respect women. This is caused by the church, religion, and the goddamn oligarchs. And right after I went offline with the live, the ambulance, the police showed up, a fire truck. A woman was laying down on the sidewalk upstairs right after I sent the live. She's on life support in the hospital, drug overdose. We don't know if she's going to live. This was because I had a kindred spirit. I'm not plastic, people. I'm a real person. I have a naughty mouth, and I'm not sorry for it. If my words make you hurt your ears, if you have virgin ears, you're plastic. If you cannot examine my consciousness, my intention, if you cannot reason with me, you're Orokan. I'm sorry. We're living in a world where we need to be accountable. We need to bring the family together again. We need to be able to see with clear sight and discern a truth from a lie, and we need to think wisely. Not wisdom, wise and dumb. We need to be singular thoughts. We need to open our spiritual eye. And we can only do that by reasoning together. So what is my reason for mentioning J.R. Balico again? My reason is quite simple. He did something very evil. He exposed the witnesses, the ex-wives. He exposed their profiles, their children. He created a danger situation for them. They were in fear. To this day, they're in danger because of J.R. Balico. So, why J.R. Balico does not focus on his mistake, why he does not make his heart right and say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to post that. I'm sorry. No, JR has not responded to the direct allegations towards him. All he does is talk about all of this chismis, creating division, creating a battle in the hearts and the minds of people. JR, you need to speak. You need to expose your reasoning for blasting the names and the profiles and the personal information of the two ex-wives of Norman Mangosteen at a time during a trial, lying to them, telling one of them, don't talk to Boss Mike, only talk to me. Don't talk to June and Pinky, talk to me. You know, JR, what you don't understand, JR, all of these victims that are present to go forward with this trial, we're all friends, JR. We all love each other and help each other, JR. Every time they get in fear, they contact me. Sir John, can you help us? And I blast you, JR. I bring some comfort to them, at least letting them know that some people care. Cherry Salvador is making a relationship with these people also, because Cherry is not Orocan like you, JR. Cherry was here in the beginning, JR. Cherry talked to Nino Barzaga because Nino Barzaga's doing charitable works. He's actually providing wheelchairs to people. Cherry's bringing the bridge building capability into our moral obligation to each other, our fellow man. Cherry is teaching us how to have mercy, how to actually reconcile and reason with others. Guess what, JR? Soon I'm going to unblock Nino Barzaga and I'm going to tell him, Calbo, I love you, but God damn it, why are you still FLM, FLM? Can we be friends? Can we reason? What's your reason for supporting a fraud, Nino Barzaga? And Nino will have a chance to answer to me. If Nino repents and says, you know, Sir John, you're right. I should have never supported Francis Leo Marcos because it is a lie. If I can reason with Nino Barzaga, guess what? I'm going to be good friends with his fucking ass because I like him. I love him. Okay? You got it, JR? JR, I am personal friends with people that love Francis Leo Marcos and Norman. They still believe that Francis Leo Marcos is real. And they have a friendship with me. They say, Sir John, I believe you're wrong. I said, listen, when have I been wrong before? And they say, yeah, you're right. We'll see. We'll wait and see. That's the silent supporters, you know. I didn't block them. But guess what? It's gonna open their eyes and their minds soon. Francis Leo Marcos is a gift to open our eyes and our mind to know the truth from a lie. And Norman was the one that gave that gift. Even though it was a lie and chismis and bullshit, you know what? It stopped and he's facing his problems. He's repenting. He's facing his accusations. And he will be in jail probably the rest of his life. But JR, what are you doing for what you have done wrong? JR, I'm not even mentioning all the other shit that came up while we were talking and communicating with hundreds of people about you, JR. You have a hell of a past, JR. Seems like you were an LP for Lenny not too long ago. JR, who the fuck are you really? Are you just a man that's gonna be chismis and never address the allegations to you? If you're innocent, fight for your innocence. Fight to reason with us, JR. Because one thing me and Cherry have in common, we loved you 3 months ago. But you little motherfucker, you know what you did? Slowly, you started making our eyes like this, shocked. And then we started digging and we started finding out some very serious shit. And then you started exposing the location, the identity, all of this shit. You made big mistakes. Yeah. And this Vera, why you don't talk about her? Where's her $52 million case filed against Norman? Is she paying you? I mean, was Vera Norman's sugar mama? It's amazing. 3 months ago, everybody knew that she was abused. She had death threats. If it would not have been for her friends, she would not be able to file charges. But son of a bitch, now she don't file no charges. What's going on? What's the real truth? You know, it's all going to come out, JR, and I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to keep talking about it. The best thing you can do is make peace with us, Gargoyle, because all you're doing is retaliating. You make a lot of drama. You put a video 15 hours before it goes on YouTube, and all of your followers get the drama. It's like, I can't believe that goddamn Calbo, that fucking scammer, Cherry Salvador, that goddamn, how can they be? How can? But nobody pays attention to what we're saying. Nobody gives a fuck for the ex-wives of Norman. Nobody cares about their children. Nobody cares about the families that were victimized. Nobody cares about what you did wrong, JR. But you know what? That's why I'm here. When your diaper full of shit goes to fall off, I get some duct tape and I tape it back on you so you can walk with your diaper full of shit, little boy. Okay? So be direct, be frank, JR Balico. The one issue we all want to know, we would love to know what gave you the right to expose the two ex-wives of Norman. You called each one of them the NBI star witness. Both of them, motherfucker. You exposed one of them. She was using a fake profile so she could hide. You exposed her fake profile, motherfucker. The other one lives a legitimate life in the field of law. Children, beautiful family, a survivor. And you called her bipolar? You exposed everything about her except her goddamn social security number. Phone number, bank account, everything. You can call that a mistake, but you did it, motherfucker. You and DJ Huey. And you motherfuckers don't want to talk about it. You want to call a truce. Or you want to block all the people that are trying to make you accountable. This is not a battle to divide and conquer Tolino warriors or have an official group or have a big boss or like this, like this. This is about ethics, JR. This is about when will you be a man and stand up and be frank with your followers that love you so goddamn much. When will you expose the reasoning? You must be one smart motherfucker if you have a valid reason for harming these women and their families and the witnesses. I'm serious. I'm not stupid, JR. I'm a pretty intelligent, wise ballhead. Okay? I have skin in the game. I consider Norman's ex-wives as my sisters. I consider Norman's ex-mother and father-in-law as my brother and sister. We are family, JR. And you can stop all of this, motherfucker. There is something called, I'm sorry. There is something called, what's your reason for doing it? Come clean, you little bitch. Because that's what you're doing. You're being a little bitch about all of this. Me and Sherry, we tag team on this because we have the same passion. We have the same heart concerning these people and their children. And Norman. We actually give a damn about Norman. All you care about is the story and the attention, JR. All you care about is maintaining people to follow you. You don't care about exposing the truth about why we're attacking you and exposing you, JR. You don't ever talk about that. But pretty soon when the NBI and all the cyber libel and everything comes to your ass, you're going to talk then, or maybe you won't have a chance to talk. JR, you're in serious trouble. We're not. We are trying to hold you accountable just like we did to Francis Leo Marcos. Remember when you helped us and we helped you? Remember when Jack Patty gave you all that good information about Norman? And then you made it look like it's your fucking information? Okay? Reason with us, JR. I'm throwing you an olive branch, okay? I want to make peace with you because you deserve it. You're a human. Your followers, your fan club deserves to see you be a man and apologize for this shit. You don't need to apologize to me and Cherry because we're big boys and girls. We know we're right. We're justified by our honor and our purpose and our truth. Okay? So, JR, here's the instructions. Okay? Make a video. You don't have to say Ma'am Cherry's name. Her name is Cherry Salvador. Okay? And my name is John Arceneaux. Remember? I'm the one you directly made a fucking screenshot of, and you said, this guy is more Filipino than most Filipinos. That's a fucking lie. I'm not a goddamn Filipino. I am Mahalikan, JR. Filipino means slave. My goal is Maharlika, not Philippines. So get it straight. You must make a video and you must address an apology and a reason why you mentioned the names of the two ex-wives, lying about them, and why did you share their damn personal information? Why? And JR, honestly, if you cannot answer my video, you're a devil. If you cannot apologize for what you did or give a good valid reason, who in the world, who in the universe gave you right to cause damage to the two women that used to be married to Norman? The witnesses and the families of these people. What's your valid reason? And if you don't respond, motherfucker, it just proves that you're yellow. You're nothing but a goggle snake if you do not change this. Because the reality still stands. You did it. We know you did it. And you're not addressing the accusations. See, that's what real people do, JR. They don't have a cockpit of chismis and fake accounts and all this stuff. They don't have little people that are up their ass and you can cry, I don't deserve this. I'm the one that exposed Francis Leo Marcos. No, you're lying. Stop it. We all did it. Okay? So shut up. Fix your mouth. Get your little balls. Squeeze them. Your little eggs in. Squeeze them hard. And say, okay, we can do this. We can talk to yourself in the mirror. Practice. Say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I was stupid, I was stupid. Why did I do this? Why did I cause danger for these two women, their children, their families, and the case against Norman? And if you don't respond to me, you're yellow. You're yellow anyway. That's where you come from.